Hello and welcome back to CCSP Certified channel. Today I'm going to cover the next set of questions from 6 to 10. So if you're new to my channel, I would like to inform that I have already covered over 90% of the theory. We have first 6 topics, topics 1 to 6, where I have covered encryption, identity access management, cloud characteristics, risk in the cloud, international laws and standards, and miscellaneous. So by these 6 topics, I have already covered 90% of the syllabus. And topic 7 I started, which is a exam question based series where I will discuss about the memory based questions that is seen by my candidates, and I will cover remaining theory also in this one. So 90% theory I have covered in the lectures, 10% I will cover during the question answer discussion, and I will also see how to attempt the question in the exam. So same question, how the CCSP asks the questions, how to apply the theory. So I will give the reference of the theory lecture also in this question answer sessions. So just watch lecture 1, which is first 5 questions. This is lecture 2. I will cover the remaining 5 questions now. Before this, I just quickly discuss why I started this video series. So my goal is to help you get further faster in your CCSP exam certification. So couple of years before, when I started my preparation, there was not enough good free tutorials available on the internet. So I decided let's start a free series for candidate, and I cover high probability exam topics in this series. Also some difficult exam concept, because soundness of concept is very important to clear any of the IC square exam, especially CCSP. And also questions from various sources I cover. I do conduct classroom teaching also. I cover their questions and official question banks, sample question banks, and I use them when I discuss the theory. I explain those questions and what type of questions being asked in the exam that is being discussed along with the theory in these video lectures. And I have over 15 years of experience. I will use my experience, my cloud certification, CCSP, CISSP, and other certification learnings to make things easy and simple for you. And some candidate ask me, will it be sufficient, this video series? Do they need any classroom to be attended? So I say no. This is free and sufficient. But in case you want comprehensive study, or you want someone who can solve your doubt, can explain the concept in depth, in those scenarios you can plan for some classroom teachings. Even I do conduct some classroom teaching, and also sell some self-paced training recording, which is a YouTube based recordings. I have already prepared them and uploaded on my private YouTube channel. Those you can get in nominal rate, along with my guidance. And if you are interested for this, you can write me at the ccsp-certified@gmail.com, or WhatsApp me on this number +91 83700 81064. There is no calling facility on this number. Just call, do a WhatsApp call, or message me on WhatsApp, or email me in case you are interested for comprehensive and the classroom or self-paced training recording. Otherwise, follow my channel for the free and sufficient YouTube study. Now come to the question set. So this is sixth question, and in exam, as I informed before also, there are variety of questions based on the weightage, or like each question has a different weightage. So if I give a one question simple answer, one question, the next question will be higher weightage, will be more marks. So weightage of the score and the complexity of the question will increase till I make it wrong. Once I make it wrong, again the simple question comes. So like one of the simple question that is being seen by my candidates: a company has started operating in the European Union and holding customer data. Which of the following laws should they comply with? So one questions must come from the chapter 6 or domain 6, where we have different international laws, and I have already covered this. This is GDPR. So in the lecture 2032, I will give the reference of this in this video description also, the link of this lecture 32. But you just understand or remember this concept, that if you are working anywhere in the world, maybe in India, maybe in Europe, maybe in Australia, maybe in America, but if you are holding the European customer data, then you are compliant to GDPR. So even though you are not a company working in the Europe, still if you are holding the European customer data, you become responsible to GDPR. Next one, which of the following can monitor the user activity in the databases. So there are some user activity like a user performing a delete operation or performing some high privileges or high risk operation. Which tool can monitor these activities? Though I haven't covered this in theory, but I will cover now along with the questions. They are WAF, API Gateway, DAM and PAM. So DAM, which is a database activity monitoring tool, we'll discuss now in detail. WAF I have already covered in a few lectures. WAF is a web access firewall, which is a layer 7 protection. So during the that OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities, I have covered this WAF that uh, in case you want to protect your web application against this OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities, cloud providers has provided a tool which is known as WAF. WAF can protect against the DDoS attack also and against the top 10 vulnerabilities of OWASP. Database activity monitoring tool, which is also a layer 7 tool, which work along with the database and monitor the activities of the users on the database, like any delete operation, drop operation, any new create or update operation, high privileges, high risk operation, that them is used to monitor them. API gateways for protecting APIs. This is also a layer 7 tool where when the public APIs are exposed, they are being protected with the API gateway, like who can access which IPs we can, if you want to block a specific set of IPs, if you want to do a rate limiting, like within 24 hours you can attempt only 10 times, 15 times. All these controls or throttling can be done with the API gateway. PAM is a different concept, which is privilege account access management or account management. So I have already covered on dedicated lecture or lecture 26 for PAM. You can watch them, which is for privileged user. For database or user activity in database, it is a DAM. In case they don't mention database also, if they ask user activity, what is the way to monitor user activity in the cloud environment, then we may go with the CASB. CASB also I have covered. I will bring a question in the next set where I will see how CASB can helpful in the monitoring user activities. Now organization is building an application that needs to call another private SaaS application via API to retrieve the data that is needs to present on the web UI. Which what is the base authentication mechanism in these scenarios? So this type of complex questions may come in the exam, but they are best just written in the way it looks complex, but it is not a complex question because the key point is via API. So what I have covered in my lecture also, I will give the reference of that lecture, that whenever there is a API call need to be protected, always go with the OAuth flow. SAML is a web-based flow, but API protection always go with the OAuth flow. So you check SAML, OAuth, Kerberos, digital certificate, differences between these already I have covered in the lecture 12. I will give the reference of this lecture in the link also, and you can see from my playlist lecture 12 directly also. Next one, second last in this one, what is not true about the chain of custody? Very important question. And chain of custody, at least one question will be there in exam from chain of custody. So chain of custody, you should get good idea about this. I have covered this concept in one lecture, but today quickly we discuss what is the chain of custody. So first option we'll read, which is not true. So it is a paper trail or document that logs record custody information, control transfer of evidences. It is completely true. It is a definition of the chain of custodies. So we'll park one first option. It can be affected by the geography, yes, based on the different geographical legislation and the compliance law. Chain of custody can have a different type of steps involved. Third option, the chain of custody is sole responsibility of the CSP, which is not true. We'll discuss now why it is not true, but we'll go to option 4. Chain of custody is associated with the forensic analysis. Very good. It is correct answer because it is used in the forensic analysis, and it is very important when some incident happen in the cloud, and not only cloud, anywhere. If any incident happen, there should be a proper chain of custody of the documentation to understand how this incident or the crime has happened. And this is very important when there is a case filed against the CSP, or when there is a dispute happen between the CSP and the that customer. And I have covered this in detail in lecture 29. I will share the link of this in the video description. or you may see from my video list. But why option C is incorrect? Because CSP may play important roles for collecting or preserving logs, but the ultimate responsibility lies with the legal owner of the data. Who is the owner of the data or owner of the asset? Who has the legal responsibility to perform a chain of custody, and responsibility can be shared between CSP and customer based on the agreement. But normally it is a legal owner of the data who holds the responsibility legally against the law. Last question in this one, very important question. Also, you should be very sound on the encryption, because there are good number of questions come on the cryptography and encryption. So I have already covered this in detail. I will share the link also, but just see the question. A organization is hosting a data in the data services in the cloud, and what is the best way to secure the data? So what is the best way to secure the data, and what is the uh, ways of securing the data? You have to be aware if you bring the data in the cloud. The first one is that so we will roll out the question and answer, which is looks very odd or not applicable. The second one, SSL is out of picture. SSL is a outdated technology. So always remove the option B or any option which has a SSL based question option. The fun is TLS, TLS, TLS. Let's bring the answer. Server side encryption with the cloud provider key. First option saying this. Second, third option saying server side encryption with the customer managed key is stored in the HSM, and client side encryption with the customer managed key in the customer management key system, whatever the key system management key system they use. So I discussed detail in detail is so when you use the cloud, you have to use your data in the cloud. Let's say you use the database service in the cloud, but normally cloud providers provide the encryption by default, like data in rest is encrypted. So if your data is stored in the database in the cloud, that is encrypted with the AES 256. But uh, but who will manage the key? Like when you want to retrieve the data, your application want to access the data, how the data retrieval will happen? Then a key is required. One option is you ask CSP that you encrypt the data with your key, which is also not a bad option, but not a most secure option, because if CSP holding the key, any disgruntled employee or any employee with the wrong intention can use this key and decrypt your data and can see the data. So option one is less correct. Then option C. Option C is where you're doing the server side encryption and also managing the key at the customer manage and in the HSM device. So I already covered the HSM CMK and the server side encryption in detail. I will go with the option C in this case. The option D is also correct and most secure way to storing the data. When you do the client side encryption, only encrypted data goes to the server, and in this scenario the only problem is that the data is secure, but data cannot be read or used by the application hosted in the cloud. And the disadvantage is that any indexing you perform the data, or any task you want to perform the data is not possible to do in the cloud. Normally SaaS based solution we go with the client side encryption to secure it, but no, in the majority of the cases server side encryption with the CMK uh, stored in the HSM is the best answer in this scenario. So I have explained this in detail during my video lecture, which is a lecture 8. You do watch them. I will share the link of this also in the video description. And this for today. In case you found it useful, please like my channel, subscribe my channel. It takes good amount of time to prepare these questions and the reference of this one. So in case it is useful to you, please follow me and share this to your friends. Thank you for watching it.